It's my pleasure to introduce to you Dan Lacoco. I'm going to read a couple of things that I pulled off the internet. He's the barrier knocker downer, that's the name of his company. Organizational development, professional, remover of labels is how he describes himself. After leaving the world of 9 to 5, I focused my attention on the group facilitation, coaching, and business process analysis. My special interest lies in the area of inclusion of persons with disabilities in community and economic life. He has a doctoral that he's just finishing up, and the focus of that is internal barriers faced by hiring authorities in the accommodation of persons and disabilities. Mainstreaming on Main Street, the focus of conversations with professionals with and without disabilities need to have in order to support an inclusive, productive work environment. And we all know that inclusiveness, diversity, makes for a profoundly healthier organization, and there's statistics and data on that on the internet. My pleasure. Dan, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Dick. As Dick mentioned, I have an interest in inclusion of disabilities and so forth. One of the things you should know, some of you already know, I don't see. So there's somebody in the back here who knows Christmas carols well, and if I start going like this, you'll just start humming a Christmas carol and go right back there. That's where I'm facing. Anyways, today we're talking about developing strength in others. I don't have things necessarily to teach you, because I think, as we all know, we learn rather than being taught. What I can do, however, is share a little bit of my journey, some of my experiences, some of the things I find exciting, particularly in this area of servant leadership, and we'll go on with the day from there. Does that sound like a deal?
Yes.
All right. When I look back, starting out, surprise, surprise, most of my energies in work and so forth were using physical labor. My leadership roles came from the ability to use my back as opposed to my brain. And at the time, I probably was well suited for that. But as I got into things, went to college, my interest went to business. One of the interesting things I did while earning a finance degree at UW-Milwaukee was I got a chance to work for the information desk there. And what was exciting about that was the opportunity to have people before you who really needed help. And big institution, 35 plus buildings, you're sitting at a desk that says information over the top of it. People come with everything. People who did not know where to park, how to get a degree, where the health center was, they would come to you. So part of the challenge of our team was, how do we help these people, both during office hours, when you could just refer them to someplace, and after hours and weekends. And that became a very exciting, interesting challenge. So I enjoyed doing that while studying for my degree. After getting done with college, I used my degree in such areas as materials management, information systems management, finance management. Most of the things I did was using that technology, technical skills, etc., to help people get the right materials, allocate budgets properly, have access to the information systems, study business processes for people. All of those kind of transactional, certainly support roles, but our teams mainly answered questions for people. Not too exciting, not too in-depth, not, like I say, transactional. One of the interesting roles I found myself in was moving up into being the project manager at a university for the financial systems and ultimately for the financial systems and human resources systems. And in that role, what was exciting about it was enterprise systems are exciting, large scale relational databases, blah, 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 you know, stuff we don't really care about, but is like that magic behind things. But what was fun at the university setting was the access to resources, the access to being able to connect with people through listservs, through web pages, designing the web pages to fit the needs of our clients, just to be able to convene rooms like this, to be able to get a room and conduct a user group meeting, to gather people together. But what was revealing about that environment was, I thought, being the IT guy, gonna bring these people together, we're gonna demo a few, you know, here's how you create a purchase order, blah, 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 click here, etc., etc. You know what? People didn't care about that so much. That wasn't what was important to them. What was important was, how do all these pieces fit together? How do they make all this stuff work? How do they be more effective in the roles they have, the commitment they made to the university? And consequently, what I found myself doing was building infrastructure. Not the database infrastructure, not that type of thing, but building the infrastructure where people could come together, people could connect with each other, and people could learn from each other. And that was what was exciting. And as that role developed and as that infrastructure developed, people got more and more interested in how do we make these connections, and we brought the operational people in and essentially took over this information technology services based infrastructure of connection. And the budget people came in, the purchasing people came in, the accounting people came in, and they connected directly with those people using the systems. And that was very rewarding because, like I say, I started out just thinking, all right, we're going to just show procedures, but people don't care about procedures so much as they do connections and how they can be effective in what they do. Same time, I really lost my interest in database design, all of those strictly technical things. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, technical things, technical knowledge, technical skills are very, very important. Okay? Let's take just a little break for an example here. We're all here on the third floor of the building. We're still on the third floor. If we all got up at the same time, we all jumped as high as we could, and we all hit this floor, we'd still be on the third floor. Why? Because somebody's got the technical expertise to make all of that happen. It is critical that that technical piece, those technical pieces all fit together. But what's exciting to me, and what I learned as I walked away from that experience, was the connections we make, the spaces we have. And as I reflected back at that time, professionally, the times when I was doing my best went all the way back to the information desk at UW Milwaukee, of helping people to connect where they wanted to go. Also, building infrastructure where people could come together and I could take a step back and watch that happen, watch those people interact on their own, cultivate their own interactions. The situations where I took a person who started as a clerk and let them take on ownership of their report writing, their own quality assurance, etc. That's where those were exciting. In my personal life, look back, my wife and I had done a lot of stuff with marriage ministry, working with couples to help them prepare for marriage, anywhere from groups 35 to 45 couples at a time to sitting across the table from them in our dining room. And once again, not to tell them what to do, how to do things, but to explore with them how are they going to interact, how are they going to make things happen for themselves. And so consequently, as I moved forward into a little more independent, away from that 9 to 5, as Dick pointed out, my focus became, how do we connect? How do we gather together to get things done? And that goes from as simple as having coffee with somebody to talk about how they want to proceed in their life, mentoring, all the way up to how does a large organization that deals with thousands of people, how do they make assessments of what their clients think of them? How do they find that out? How do they learn? And so that's been a consistent theme that I really like to do. And what I realize about this is it's the creating of space that I find so exciting, so rewarding. Whether that space be electronic through email lists, etc., whether that be through database gathering of information and analysis of information, whether it just be bringing people together around a table, much as we're doing today. And I'm going to do a shameless plug for one of the things that I find very rewarding right now is facilitating a servant leadership roundtable, which some of you, I know from saying hi this morning, come to the roundtables once a month. There'll be one on Thursday morning. But creating that environment and getting people around a table to talk about a question that we don't necessarily know the answer to, and exploring it together, that is so exciting. And that is so rewarding. And what I find, going back to our theme for the morning, is that developing strength in other. When I look at the other, sometimes I realize when I'm sitting with a group of wise people, as we're all gifted here today, I become the other. It's like, wow, I have gained strength from this conversation. And that is exciting, it's rewarding, and I never know where it will go, but I know I'll be enriched through the experience. And anytime I have that opportunity to cultivate those interactions, whether it's personally, professionally, in a facilitated manner, or just sitting at the bus stop, it's always exciting, it's always a precious gift. So, with that, I am going to close and pass this along to the next person who can share. And thank you all for the opportunity to be with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.